Salutations and welcome to Shauna's Kitchen, where every day is a new day, and today we are doing a fall jar preservation day. So, a few weeks ago, my husband purchased 100 jars online and for 50 cents each, and we were super excited, went and picked them up. I looked in the boxes, they looked really good when we got home. After sanitizing and washing in my dishwasher, some of them over 2, 3, and one set 4 times, I decided that was a little cumbersome. And I was actually adding to what was already in the dishwasher. I wasn't just like rerunning these loads over and over, just to clarify. The first time I was running them, it was only the jars. And then from the second and the third time, I was adding it in with the things that I was already trying to wash. So in the end, I ended up with 1 box left, and it has 10 jars in it, ranging from, they are the quart size, and they were ranging from having mold and black stuff. Some were on the sides, and then some were actually, the bottoms were all nasty and crusty, which is why I washed them by themselves the first time around. I did the worst ones first, and then I went from there. And then I was putting them, drying them, air drying them after the dishwasher, and putting them back, separating them, the ones that came clean versus ones that didn't. These are 2 different ones that did not come clean. This one here, as you can see, has a whole bunch of, I realize, is rust now. When I first did it, I was just quickly putting all of them into the dishwasher, not even recognizing this was a rusty one. Just thought they were dirty from sitting for a long time. So what I did was I took a baker's best friend, baking soda, and I mixed it with water in my pot back here, and I boiled the water with 2 jars because I could only actually fit 2 comfortably in there so that they're completely submerged. And I boiled them for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I turned it off and I put the lid on it, and I just left it for a couple of days in the pot. And these jars are what I ended up with. And I was so excited to see how it turned out. I thought you might want to know too. So what I've done is I have my pot out, and I have 2 more nasty jars, and all I'm doing is taking the water. I'm actually going to reuse the water I used for these 2 jars, and I'm going to dip in so you can see what it looks like. My water actually has become, not very clear. It's pretty orange, and that is because one of those jars was had the rust on it. Excuse me, sorry. And you often get rusty jars and lids when you're using vinegar to wash things and wipe down, because metal and vinegar corrode. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this process. I wanted to show you what my jars look like. This really nasty bottomed jar, and then this lid that is full of rust. I'm going to go ahead, I'll boil these for 15-20 minutes. I'll let you see what the water looks like when I'm done, and then I'm just going to leave it for 2-3 days. I'll come back to you and show you the end result with the same 2 jars. So let's hope I have the same results as the other, and I'm sure that I will, and I can't wait to show you. Alright, I'm ready to show you. So I have my baking soda, and I've already used this water before, so I'm not going to pre-measure out. Before, I did use a 1/4 cup of baking soda. I'm just adding a little bit of fresh and new because there was a lot of rust and goo in the other ones. Taking my same jars. Make sure you realize they are literally the same two. Putting them into my water, making sure that they're dipped all the way down and that the water fills the jar, because I do not want air bubbles inside the jars. Now, just to make sure that my jar, and they're laying on their sides and they're down and they're submerged. Obviously, I don't want to use my pressure can or something like that that's much taller. So I'm using this tall stock pot, and I'm making sure the water gets in there, because if you don't, you could have air in there, and then it's not going to clean that area. Two, it could break your jars. I also have a container in the bottom, a wire rack, so that my, can't lift that, so that it's easy to bring them out when I'm done, as well as they're not touching the bottom, so they're not going to break. So if I set them in with my rack at a little angle facing up, I can get as much water inside there and have the air escape, and then slowly simmer them down, sit them down, and they are full. And I'm going to slide it back. Can't lift that up. I'm going to go ahead and turn. I don't cook on high, but I am going to go between 8.5 and 9, just to get her boiling. And then once it actually starts boiling, I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. But I really would like, 1, to keep the heat in there, 2, for it to boil faster, and 3, a watch pot never boils. So I'm not going to be paying attention to it much. So I'm going to just go ahead and get that lid put on. So we're hoping for the same results. Get that boiling, timer, 15 minutes. Then I'm going to let it cool for a couple of days, and I'll show you what we have. All right, welcome back, and the timer's going off, so we're just going to turn off the timer and turn off the stove. As you can see, it is bubbling over a little bit over here. Not onto the stove, but just underneath there, and I'm letting it sit. And we're just gonna let that now go for a couple days, and after it cools down, I'll have my husband move it for me, and then I'll just set it and forget it, and then I'll be back and we'll examine them jars. All right, it's been 2 days, and we're going to go ahead and get a check on these glass jars and see how they're doing. And I went ahead and got a thick washcloth, a green scratch pad, and then a multi-scratch pad that has the scratch and then the soft sponge. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out the first jar. Yep, you can still see. Hold on a second here. You can definitely still see that it's dirty inside. So I'm going to just take the soft sponge real quick, and I'm going to see how easy it is. Oh, it's simply going to wipe right out. That's fantastic. I'll just wipe the bottom here. Now you are on this journey with me. You watched me boil this water, and then you watched me leave it. Well, it's been left for 2 days. Now I'm simply just barely scrubbed it. I'm going to do a quick rinse. And I'm not even going to fill it. I'm literally only going to put enough to swish it around. And there it is. The first jar that had all the mold in the bottom that I've washed 4 times is done. Now, just so you know, once I get all of the jars that were in that first box washed in this manner, I'm going to go ahead and then I will one more time sterilize them in the dishwasher. But first I just wanted to get them clean with this method because, like I said, I've already tried the dishwasher several times. Now this one here, this jar, is the one that had all of the rust on the top. And we're going to simply start with a scrub around, just real soft, around the edge, and see how it goes. All I did is let these jars sit for 2 days after boiling them for the 15 minutes with the lid on. This was water, baking soda, and apple cider vinegar. 1/4 cup of each, the baking soda and the apple cider vinegar, which I added the apple cider vinegar after I boiled for the 20 minutes. Alright, so here we go. Just going to take a quick little look. Now I'm not scrubbing hard because my fibromyalgia is not going to allow me to scrub hard. I'm literally just going around the edge and making sure that I'm in between each of the lip creases on this jar. I'm going to do one little on the inside scrape just to make sure that that's done as well, because I did see some rust down the inside. Alright, now real quick, do a little rinse. And there you have it. Look at that jar. You would never believe it had all that rust on it that we had the other day, as well as all the mold on the other jar. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to properly clean your mason jars, like if you get at a yard sale or whatnot, or if for some reason you put some away and they have mold in them and you just don't notice, or if you have jars that have rust and you were going to get rid of them. Now, you don't need to. All you need to do is get out your big pot, boil it with your baking soda and your apple cider vinegar water. Thank you and have a great day.